YouTube. So let's see. I did write a poem this week. And after Barbara's cat poem last time, in fact, that very night I went to the church for our little meeting and a dove flew in and flew around wildly and then went into a window and killed itself. So it was a pretty sad event. So I made a poem of it. Oh, Patrick's coming. Cool. Hey, Patrick, he made it. He's muted. He's probably at work. He probably can't talk. You want to say hi, Patrick?
Hello, Patrick.
I can't unmute him. I have to ask him to unmute. He's probably at work, so we'll just leave him alone. Okay, here's my dove poem. Oh, my trusty glasses. Again, it's numbered. I can't write poems without numbers these days. Patrick is chatted in the EIM at work, so he'll just probably stay unmuted. Number 1. It had been a hot day, and the church doors were open. A dove flew in, then panicked, flying wildly about the ceiling beams. I tried to get him to fly out the door, but he flew straight for the window, where he saw the trees beyond and freedom. Number 2. It was the large window where so often I looked out imagining God in the sky, the natural majesty of the glorious oak tree. But now it had stopped this poor bird's dash for life. 3. The dove fell flopping on the floor. I picked him up and put him outside in the flower box. Sometimes birds just knock themselves out. I hoped he would recover and fly away. But when I looked back, he lay lifeless, his eyes closed, beak open. Number 4. My heart flew open like a door to the sorrow of life and death. Yet when I picked up the lifeless body, I knew that the spirit that had animated the bird was gone, had flown to some eternal place. I lay the dove at the feet of St. Francis, the patron saint of all little flying lives, both of them now in the light that precedes earthly life. The doors to my heart closed slowly, swinging inward to peaceful rest.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Very thoughtful. Very sweet.
yeah, there's a few good lines in there. Oh, we lost Patrick. Oh well, maybe he got busy. Let's see, what have I got? Well, in my newer poetry book, I wrote like a little parable. I've never read it, so I thought, oh, well, I'll read it. Called The Vineyard. Having come of age, I leave my parents' home in search of my fortune in life. Traveling some distance, I come to a large vineyard. This seems like a good place to start my new life. I ask the owner for a job. He looks me up and down, then resumes tying up some vines. I ask him again, and then yet again. He says, very well, but first take this single grape plant, nurture it, And when it has produced fruit, come back and I will give you a job. I continue traveling, but being a headstrong young man, I soon toss away the grapevine. To me, what the man asked seemed an unnecessary bother. I come to a town and soon apprentice to a store owner. After some years, I start my own store, and after that, many others. In short, I become quite wealthy. One day, riding my fine steed out in the country, I come to the same vineyard I first came to after leaving home. Remembering the impudence of the owner wanting me to start with a single plant, I mean to show him what I have become. I find him tying up vines as before and say, "Sir, you did not remember me, but you were wrong in not hiring me. Now I am wealthy and I wish to buy your vineyard." He says it is not for sale and continues tying vines. I say, "I will give you twice the value of your vineyard." Again he refuses. Enraged, I tell him he is a fool. I turn to leave when he asks me what I did with the plant he gave me. I tell him I threw it away. He says, "That's too bad. You had a chance to find real riches." Many years pass. I marry and have children of my own. My wife becomes cold to me and my children are spoiled and do nothing but spend my money. They show no initiative to create their own wealth. I am unhappy, even with my money. More and more I find myself thinking of the vineyard owner and wondering what he meant by real riches. I take my carriage out to see him. He is tying up vines as in each other time. "Tell me what you meant by real riches," I ask him. He looks me up and down, just like the first time. Without saying anything, he hands me a single grape plant. I take the plant and this time plant it in my garden. I water it and am careful to keep it free of weeds. A year passes, then two, and finally in year 3 I get a small bunch of grapes. When they are purple and soft, I taste one. It is the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. I go to visit the vineyard owner. As always, he is tying up the vines, even though he is also old now and could surely hire someone to do this task. I tell him I have tasted the fruits of my labor and how that one taste of that grape was more fulfilling than having all my riches. "Yes, that's how it is," says the vineyard owner. "You see, the bounty of the vineyard is actually God, but you must come to that first taste before you are allowed to know that. Come, old friend. Now that you know the taste of the real grape, I will show you the next step, how to make wine for body and soul."
I like that. Very, very different.
Yeah, not a bad little parable. Is that a parable or just a story? I don't know.
I think it's a parable
Yeah.
because it has a point.
First time I've ever read it. Let's read this one. Hiking with a friend. My friend and I are hiking through an oak forest. It's a nature area between streets and houses, yet it feels original here, old and ancient. We stop by an oak that has let go of life. It simply fell apart at the center. We feel its dead limbs lying on the ground. Like old druids, we are reverent. At the end of the trail, another leads downhill. We descend, trying not to slip on the eucalyptus nuts. We come to a little church perched on a hill. A stone St. Francis sits in the yard. We sit with him. He is mossy and perhaps has some bird droppings on him. I don't think the original Francis would mind. He loved nature and God, and I think he knew no difference between the two. We sit content, at peace. Then it's time to head back uphill. And as we feel each of our steps upon the supportive earth, we know this is our prayer today.
Mm.
Let's see, I'll read. I read one more. A dark cloud. The finches and sparrows land on the feeder and immediately begin looking round for danger. Are they afraid? I suppose, but not like people fear. We see a dark cloud approaching, yet we don't know if it's real or imaginary. This scares us, this not knowing, this cloud of unknowing. If the cloud would actually release thunder and lightning and torrential rain, it might be better for us. Then we could become active and respond, or as Rilke suggests, lay down before it as animals do. We feel helpless before what might happen. Sometimes the only way to counteract the imaginary gale is to meet it with our own breath, our lungs opening and closing, just like a celestial squeeze box playing heavenly music. Alrighty. I guess Patrick is just not going to be able to get back in. Let's see. Glenda, you sent me one, right?
Yeah. A Latin phrase that
Oh,
moved me.
oh yeah. Where did you find that phrase anyway?
I don't remember. I think it was in a book.
Yeah.
Of course, it was in a book.
Yeah. Some old guy came by speaking Latin. That would be a little unlikely. A Latin phrase that moved me. Tempus fugit umbra in mente. Time is a shadow in the mind. Sometimes I run frantically from it, and then grow still to savor. I tug on time's coattails, whisper, please stay, then watch as the sun sets and time darkles away. Is darkles a word? Even if I
Yes,
stay
it
here, is it? Even if I stay here and wait for tomorrow, time will still move me one tiny step closer. Time is a shadow where memories are kept, tied with a silver chain, locked with a golden key that's been broken off in a shadowy lock. I like that line. Kept there forever and forever in the day. As shadows lengthen, does time do as well? Isn't it more likely that time shortens instead? I hold the shadow closer to stave off the time, though I know time will win in the shadowy dance. So memories are made to fill up time's cup until it flows over and time takes a sip. And I sit and wait for a shadow to cross and bring me the solace of another new day. Bring me the memories time's hidden away, locked in the shadow, times left in my mind. Another good one, Glenda.
Thank you.
Always, your puns always just touch my heart, Glenda.
I'm glad. Sometimes I think I'm a little bit too wishy-washy.
Oh heck, you're what's the word?
Wishy-washy?
No, not wishy-washy.
I want to say pondering, but then I said ponderous, but it's not ponderous, obviously. I wonder why ponderous comes out of ponder. Oh well. You're meditative. I think there's a better word for it. What is it? Well, got time for a few other poems. This one's called Remorse by Juan Ramon Jimenez. Time must have covered it over with roses so it would not be remembered. One particular rose that has an unexpected magic on top of each lonely hour of gold or shadows. A place just right to hold painful memories. so that among the divine and joyful climbing roses scarlet white, which will leave no room for the past, the soul would be wound into the body. Ooh. On that one. And here's another one by the same guy. Dawn outside the city walls. You can see the face of everything, and it is white, plaster, nightmare, adobe, anemia, cold, turn to the east. Oh, closeness to life, hardness of life, like something in the body that is animal, root, slag ends, but the soul still there, not set well there, in mineral and vegetable. Sun standing stiffly against man, against the sow, the cabbages, the mud wall. False joy because you are merely in time, as they say, and not in the soul. The entire sky taken up by moist and steaming heaps, a horizon of dung piles. Oh, wow. Sour remains here and there of the night, slices of green moon, half-eaten, crystal bits from false stars, plaster and paper ripped off, still faintly sky blue. The birds not really awake yet, and the raw moon. Street light nearly out. Mob of beings and things. A true sadness because you are really deep in the soul, as they say, not in time at all. Wow. That's a lot of images in one poem. Let's see. I found this big book I have of, it's got a lot of the older poets in it. Let me see. I thought I'd read something from Muriel Rukeyser, which I know is, I think she's a well-known poet. I've never read her. This one is called Poem as a Mask, Orpheus. When I wrote of the women and their dances and wildness, it was a mask on the mountain, gold hunting, singing, in orgy. It was a mask when I wrote of the god, fragmented, exiled from himself. His life, the love gone down with song. It was myself, split open, unable to speak, in exile from myself. There is no mountain, there is no God, there is memory of my torn life, myself split open in sleep, the rescued child. Beside me among the doctors and a word of rescue from their great eyes. No more masks, no more mythologies. Now for the first time, the God lifts his hand, the fragments join me with their own music. Okay. And this is also by her, called Waiting for Icarus. If you remember, Icarus is from the Greek legend of the boy that his father made him wings put together with wax, but he flew too high to the sun and fell and died.
You know what? There's a coincidence for you. I'm trying to write a poem right now about Icarus.
Oh, how funny. Okay.
I had the first 2 lines of it.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, it's quite the metaphor.
Yeah.
If you go too high. Well, we'll see what Muriel has to say here. Waiting for Icarus. He said he would be back and we'd drink wine together. He said that everything would be better than before. He said we were on the edge of a new relation. He said he would never again cringe before his father. He said that he was going to invent full time. He said he loved me, that going into me. He said he loved me, that going into me. He said was going into the world and the sky. He said all buckles were very firm. He said the wax was the best wax. He said, wait for me here on the beach. He said, just don't cry. I remember the gulls and the waves. I remember the islands going dark on the sea. I remember the girls laughing. I remember they said, he only wanted to get away from me. I remember mother saying, inventors are like poets, a trashy lot. I remember she told me that those who try out inventions are worse. I remember she added, women who love such are the worst of all. I've been waiting all day, or perhaps longer. I would have liked to try those wings myself. It would have been better than this. I didn't expect that. A bit of ruefulness.
I think I take offense to a couple of lines there.
What was that?
That were. I think I should take offense a little bit on that one line that were trashy.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least she has some self-humor.
Yeah.
Well, should we read another one of hers?
Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying her. She has a little bit of humor. Ballad of Orange and Grape. After you finish your work, after you do your day, after you've read your reading, after you've written your say, you go down the street to the hot dog stand, one block down and across the way, on a blistering afternoon in East Harlem in the 20th century. Most of the windows are boarded up. The rats run out of a sack sticking out of the crummy garage. One shiny long Cadillac at the glass door of the drug addiction center. A man who'd like to break your back. But here's a brown woman and a little girl dressed in a rose and pink, too. Frankfurters sizzle on the steel where the hot dog man leans. Nothing else on the counter but the usual two machines. The grape one empty and the orange one empty. I face in between. A black boy comes along, looks at the hot dogs, goes on walking. I watch the man as he stands and pours in the familiar shape. Bright purple and the one marked orange. Orange and the one marked grape. The grape drink in the machine marked orange. The orange drink in the grape. Just one word large and clear and unmistakable in each machine. I ask him, how can we go on reading and make sense out of what we read? How can they write and believe what they're writing? The young ones across the street, while you go on pouring grape into orange, and orange into the one marked grape. How are we going to believe in what we read and we write, we hear, we say, we do? He looks at the two machines and he smiles, and he shrugs and smiles and pours again. It could be violence and nonviolence. It could be white and black, women and men. It could be war and peace, or any binary system, love and hate, enemy, friend. Yes and no, be and not be, but we do and what we don't do. On a corner in East Harlem, garbage, reading, a deep smile, rape, forgetfulness, a hot street of murder, misery, withered hope. A man keeps pouring grape into orange and orange into the one marked grape, pouring orange into grape and grape into orange forever.
That's interesting.
Yeah, she has sort of an interesting.
She's saying something there. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Yeah, she definitely has that sort of urban. I don't know. What can you say? Urban slyness, ruefulness. I don't know.
Orange in the grape is a metaphor for something.
Yeah, I kind of like her though. She's kind of like you kind of know what
I like her too.
you kind of know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see. This person is Stafford. Let's see. Oh, this is Stafford's famous one. William Stafford, traveling through the dark. Traveling through the dark, I found a deer dead on the edge of the Wilson River Road. It is usually best to roll them into the canyon. That road is narrow. To swerve might make more dead. By glow of the tail light, I stumbled back of the car and stood by the heap. A doe, a recent killing. She had stiffened already, almost cold. I dragged her off. She was large in the belly. My fingers touching her side brought me the reason. Her side was warm. Her fawn lay waiting, alive, still, never to be born. Beside that mountain road, I hesitated. The car aimed ahead, its lowered parking lights under the hood purred the steady engine. I stood in the glare of the warm exhaust turning red. Around our group, I could hear the wilderness listen. I thought hard for us all, my only swerving, and pushed her over the edge into the river. Poems. It's once in a lifetime you write a poem like that. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's Mary time. Time has flown by. Oh, yeah, but Patrick said he was busy at the work, so he wants to come next week. That's cool. Well, should we read some more dog songs by Mary?
I love those dog songs.
Hopefully a little more. There was some heavy ones tonight, huh? Ricky talks about talking. Ricky, can you explain how it is that Anne and I can talk with you, as we did with Percy too, and we all understand each other? Is it a kind of miracle? It's no miracle, said Ricky. It's actually simple. When you or Anne talk, I listen. When I talk, you listen, as you did with Percy. Of course we listen. No, I mean really listen. Here's a story. You don't have to visit many houses to find it. One person is talking, the other is not really listening. Someone can look like they are, but they're actually thinking about something they want to say, or their minds are just wandering, or they're looking at that little box people hold in their hands these days. And people get discouraged, so they quit trying. And the very quiet people, you may have noticed, are often the sad people. Ricky, you have really thought about this, so we can talk together because you really listen, and that's because we care. And here's the wicked smile. I guess she's talking about this doggy. The wicked smile. Please, please, I think I haven't eaten for days. What, Ricky? You had a huge supper. I did? My stomach doesn't remember. Oh, I think I'm fading away. Please make me breakfast, and I'll tell you something you don't know. He ate rapidly. Okay, I said. What were you going to tell me? He smiled the wicked smile. Before we came over, Anne already gave me my breakfast, he said. Oh, I should have more of that poem. Be prepared. A dog is adorable and noble. A dog is a true and loving friend. A dog is also a hedonist. Another one about Ricky, the traveler. Ricky, your ancestors are from Cuba, right? Says Ricky. So I'm told. But you were born in Florida. I was a baby. How would I know? But that's what I'm told. And you've lived in Massachusetts and other states, and also Mexico and now Florida again. And heaven knows what other places you may travel to. Are you an American or what? He shrugged his shoulders casually and smiled. Jason, oh, my French is horrible. Jason Shan du Monde, he said. She doesn't see what that is. I don't know. I don't know French. We need Barbara for that one. Okay, one more. Showtime. And here come the dogs, brushed, trimmed, polished. What on earth have they done to them? Said Ricky. They're half shaved and wearing pillows on their heads. And where are their tails? It's the rules, I said. And look at those women trying to run. They sure don't look like you. Thank you, I said. I'm getting a headache looking at this. I have to bark, and he began. It does no good to bark at the television, I said. I've tried it too, so he stopped. Oh, there's more of it. If ever I meet one of those dogs, I'm going to invite him to come here where he can be a proper dog. Okay, I said, but remember, you can't fix everything in the world for everybody. However, said Ricky, you can't do anything at all unless you begin. Haven't I heard you say that once or twice, or maybe 100 times? Well, Mary. Okay, guys. Well, I'm very, very happy.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, and next week,
Thanks, Glenda. Yeah, you guys have a good week.
hopefully
You
next week
too.
will be the usual Wednesday. Just
Okay. Love
okay,
you
guys.
both.
Have a
Take
lovely
care.
week. Bye.